It's a lot for that. Call Haloyim La Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Bashim Harakakadash. Yeah, it ain't cold out here. It definitely hot. So I'm guessing this thing overheated. Right? So we go back to the book of Ephesians chapter 6. It says in verse 13, wherefore take unto you the whole armor of power, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand, stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness. Right? The truth is the truth. Right? The truth is Yahweh Shai. The truth is the word. Right? The truth is the true gospel. And who this gospel is for. Right? This gospel is for the elect of the Most High's people. Everybody else, man, you slated to be put to death. Whether it be on Judgment Day or whether it be leading up to Judgment Day. Either way it goes. Because you have made a covenant with death, death shall be your reward. Right? We go to the book of Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, and verse 15. Actually, verse 14. Right. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, and verse 14. For the hope of the ungodly is like dust that is blown away with the wind, like a thin froth that is driven away with the storm, like as the smoke which is dispersed here and there with the tempest, and passeth away as the remembrance of a guest that tarrieth but a day. Right? So the wicked of the Most High's people are basically hopeless. Real talk. You believe in, think about this, man. The majority of the Most High's people believe that your vote can change things. If that was so, I want you to really think about this. If that was so, how come we still in the same position we've been in since we've been here? It just changes slightly. And when I say slightly, I mean it's not overtly slavery, but you do have to work to stay in debt. Right? It's not overtly oppression, but your neighborhoods are designed price-wise to have you in it. Right? It's the same thing, but it varies slightly. If you can vote your way out of that, how come it hasn't worked? We've gone so far as to have a so-called black president that stayed in office for 8 years, served 2 terms. How come in those 2 terms nothing was specifically done for so-called black people? And I ain't even speaking about our brethren, right, in the Northern Kingdom. I'm just speaking about so-called blacks. Right? Like I said, I ain't even talking about I'm not speaking about all of Yasharala, but if it's a so-called black man in office, wouldn't you think that every move this man is about to make will be on behalf of so-called blacks first, nation second? Even though he spoke all that right there to get into office, wouldn't you believe that so? Because we all understand politicians lie. We all understand they'll say one thing to get your vote, then when they get in office, they switch up. So how come this dude didn't do that but opposite? It's because you believing in a system that ain't real. It's never been for you. Right? Look up the definition of color of law. Get a book called Black's Law Dictionary, man. It explains it all. Those are the literal laws of this land. Right? You didn't know that. You leaning on the Constitution. Right? Executive orders ain't in the Constitution, but it's still law. Come on, man, get your mind right. Right? But the Most High said, therefore shall they receive a glorious king. Well, salat. Verse 14, for the hope of the ungodly is like dust that is blown away with the wind. Keep hoping in this wicked ass society. They keep hoping in this place that claim to be righteous and claim to be upright, claim to be the leaders of the new world and so forth and so on, all on some defending democracy crap, when in actuality they not, man. All of these nations are in cahoots together, right? Think I'm lying? Look up Bilderberg Group, look up Bohemian Grove, look up World Economic Forum. I'm giving you jewels. Right? These are where the leaders of the world meet, right? All of them, and they discuss future plans for the world, right? All about control, man. Look, we give you some more game. The elite that really run this world, they terrified of you, right? And you know why they terrified of you? Because it's way more of you than it is them. And if the people ever came into one mind that they the problem and we can solve that problem, they will be over with. That's why you got different TV networks that push different subliminal messages, and these different people being placed in high places, like we read in the book of Ephesians, wickedness in high places, right? They've been placed there for a reason, to make sure that division stays. The one thing that cannot be divided according to the word of the Most High is the elect of the elect, right? Even if it was possible, you wouldn't be able to do it because thus said Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, right? And all the elect of the elect have to do is just stand therefore. Keep on keeping on, man, right? So I'm going to read this on out. Verse 14 in Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5. For the hope of the ungodly is like dust that is blown away with the wind, like a thin froth that is driven away with the storm, like as the smoke, like as the smoke which is dispersed here and there with the tempest, and passeth away as the remembrance of a guest that tarrieth but a day. But the righteous live forevermore. Their reward also is with Yahweh. So that's why we get excited when we hear the threat of a nuclear fallout, right? When we see blood moons and we see sandstorms covering up entire cities, dust storms and smoke covering up entire cities, we get excited when we hear about earthquakes in diverse places. We get crunk when we hear about CBDCs being unleashed and the dollar being taken away and people getting put on universal basic incomes, because we understand all of that entails the end of this kingdom. 2nd Ezra 6 and 9, for Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. We understand that all these things mean the end of this place and our reward being brought with us, right? And what is our reward? It says in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5 and verse 15, but the righteous live forevermore. Their reward also is with Yahweh, and the care of them is with the Most High. Therefore shall they receive a glorious kingdom and a beautiful crown, right? From Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai's hand. For with his right hand shall he cover them, and with his arm shall he protect them. He shall take to him his jealousy for complete armor, and make the creature his weapon for the revenge of his enemies. Right? All of that is a part of that reward. We also get to partake in some of that get back, man, that the majority of the Most High people have given up on because they done lost their righteous mind. Ecclesiastes 7:7 says, surely oppression maketh the wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. So that little job you got, they got you receiving that nice little paycheck, right? Them thick thighs that you went and bought, all of this different stuff that you allowed to do in this place, it took your righteous mind away from you when you should be pissed off because you still oppressed. Yeah, they'll throw you a little chicken wing or a little crumb off the table, but reality of it is this world was made for you. This is your world. So-called black man, so-called Hispanic man, so-called Native American man, this world was made for you. And you just gave it up and don't even want to fight for it no more. Which is a damn shame. Right? But the elect of the Most High people, we gonna fight, man. And that's what Paul said when his time came up, man. He said, I ran a good race. I fought the good fight. We gonna fight, man. And this is how we fight. Ain't nobody going out and buying no AR-15s and no choppers, no 9s and no Glocks. Talking about let's boot up for war. We already understand how you gonna win a war with the sword, or a war against the sword with the sword. What did the Messiah say? He that liveth by the sword must be killed by the sword, right? So if you thinking you finna get free with the sword, you are sadly mistaken, right? This devil got a whole military, man, right? And that military goes beyond the Army and the Air Force. It go all the way down to your local police station. It go to your police station, your sheriff station, your state troopers, your bounty hunters, so forth and so on, all the way up to the 4- and 5-star generals that are right there with the king of Babylon, man. And you talking about getting up your little weapons that they know you got, because you got to register them weapons, right? Whether or maybe they don't know you got them, because you know how we do, right? And when I say we, I'm talking about so-called black, right? It don't even matter. Hey, you can have a garage full of them, right? And a whole city of people ready to get down for you. Guess what? Half them niggas gonna be undercovers, right? Half the weapons don't have enough ammunition to keep on keeping on, and they outgun you however many thousands to one, right? A losing battle, boss. Understand and know that, right? But the truth of the matter is, all we got to do is doing what we're doing with this word, and it's showing proof because of what we're seeing going on around the world that the world can't explain. I wonder why they going to war with Russia and Ukraine and everybody, all the nations gathering together. Let's see why. Let's see why all the nations gathering together for war. All right, go to the book of Joel, chapter 3, and verse 1. It says, for behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. What does that mean? To bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. It don't mean bring us into another captivity. It means the Most High is about to bring us out of a captivity. Right? And this particular captivity is quite special, right? Because it entails us coming to this place, right, being rounded up by the so-called Africans and being sold to the Grecians. What happened in the transatlantic slave trade? What happened in the sub-Saharan slave trade? If you didn't know, before the transatlantic slave trade, you so-called blacks, so-called Hispanics, so-called Native Americans. Before there was a transatlantic slave trade, there was a sub-Saharan slave trade. And guess who rounded you up? Guess who sold you off? The same people that sold you off in the transatlantic slave trade. Only difference is they didn't sell you to the Arabians, right? And you get forced Islam pushed on you. This time they sold you to the so-called white man, and you got Christianity forced upon you, right? Anyway, it says in verse 2, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, right? And will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Yasharallah, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land, right? So if you want to know why the nations are gathering, there it is. Because they put their hands on the Most High's people. They put their hands on the elect of the Most High's people, right? And they thought they were just going to do that and be able to do that until. Because they thought that Yahweh was as one of them because he allowed all of it to happen. That's the majority of the Most High people problem in the first place. Whether if God loves us and we supposed to be his chosen people, why would he allow this to happen? Okay. If you got a kid and you tell your kid not to do something, you don't just tell him once. You tell him one, you punish him. All right? He cry, you good. You tell him he mess up again, you tell him twice. You punish him. He cry, you good. He mess up, it's just a continuous cycle of messing up. So now he ain't a kid no more. Now he a grown ass man. living in your crib, and you told it by time and time again. Stop doing the nonsense. When he grown, ain't no more whooping. Now you got to get the hell out. You got to go make it on your own, right? Until you get some sense, then you can come back, and ain't no coming back to stay neither. You can come back and we can be cordial, and you know, father, son won't, right? So how much more Yahweh, right, to his people? He told us to do this. He gave us laws, statutes, and commandments. He gave us instruction, right? We fail the instruction, get in trouble, he get us out, right? Never in the circle of that. To the point where now, we kind of up in age, right? We not infants no more, right? Because we making grown man decisions, right? We going into the law of divorce and, you know, marriage between man and woman. We up there, and we steadily stepping up. Yahweh said, man, get out, man. Get out. I don't want to look at you no more. Hosea chapter 1. Matter of fact, the book of Hosea, period. I don't want to look at you no more, right? I'm gonna turn my head away from you, right? I'm gonna give you over to your lovers, right? Lamentations chapter 1. Right? I'm gonna give you over to your lovers since you want to be with them so bad, and let them get you out that trouble, and let them get you out that jam. What they like stop me? Like, damn, they were like right behind you. Yeah. I don't know. So, yeah. So the Most High got to the point where he just like, I ain't dealing with y'all no more, man. Now y'all gonna learn that everything y'all been chasing has been y'all downfall. Cause I'm gonna let them have you, right? And that's where we've been, right? Being dealt with by the nations, man, and being treated like absolute trash, right? When I say being treated like trash, I'm talking about they not treating us like who we really are, right? Honestly, it'll feel a little different if they were treating us how they treating us now, but it was a well-known fact. It was understood and overstood all around the world of who we are. Wasn't no guessing it. That ain't in the air. It's just, this is common knowledge. This who you are. It'll be a different feeling, right? But they took that away from us, right? That shows a form of perpetual hatred, man. That's a hate that's never ending, man. Right? To the point to where they wanted us dead. But the Most High is saying to his elect, don't worry, I got y'all. Right? To him that halted, man. Right? Let's see. Matter of fact, let me read on. Verse 3 in Joel chapter 3. It says, and they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for a harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink. Yea, and what have you to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? Right? Like I said, the Africans rounded us up and sold us to the Arabians, and then later on sold us to the so-called white man. Right? But it says, or sold us to the Ishmaelites, rather. Right? It says, will you render me a recompense, and if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head? Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. Right? Behold, I will raise them out of the place where ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. That's all this means, that payback on the way. The Most High blessing us with our knowledge of self again, is the Most High telling us, I'm about to do away with these nations, because I'm not going to have my people, the ones that standing boldly for my name's sake. I ain't going to have them out there being done any kind of way by this damn devil. Right? Now let me go back to Ezekiel 37, and let's see, verse 11. It said, then he said unto me, son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Behold, they say, our bones are dry, and our hope is lost. We are cut off for our part. So what did the Most High say about the ungodly? The ungodly are hopeless, right? And that was the majority of that was all of our sentiment mentally. We hopeless out here, man. That's why you got people out here that's putting their life on the line to sell dope, because they ain't got no hope of getting funds any other kind of way, right? That's why you got people out here that's doing their best to go to college and do this, that, and the third, because that's the hope that they have, because we hopeless out this place. We don't have institutions that got our back. We don't have whole states and nations of people that have our back. We out here fending for self, right? It says in the book of Ezekiel chapter 37 and verse 12, it says, therefore prophesy and say unto them, thus saith Yahweh power, behold, O my people, I will open your graves and cause you to come up out of your graves and bring you into the land of Israel. That's the great awakening. The Most High opening up them graves, meaning he shined light upon our minds and got us out of the congregation of the dead that's spoken of in the book of Proverbs, right? Like I said, it says, he that turneth his, hold on, let me see if I can find it. I think it's Proverbs 28. Could be wrong. Let's see. 28. Let me see. Let's see if I can find this precept. Is it Proverbs 8? Let's see. Okay, Proverbs chapter 21, and verse 16. It says, the man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. All right? Understanding is the word of the Most High. So he that wandereth out of the way of the word of the Most High shall remain in the congregation of the dead. You shall remain in that valley of dry bones. You will never have understanding. You will always be nothing more than an ignorant nigga. That's it. That's all you can be. Right? The only thing you're gonna know is whatever society push down your throat to know, which ain't gonna be nothing but the new rap artists, fashion, right? And niggatry, the new dance moves or whatever the hell it is, movies and music. That's all you gonna know, right? Ezekiel 37, let me see, in verse 14, and shall put my spirit in you, and ye shall live, and I shall place you in your own land. Then shall ye know that I, Yahweh, have spoken it and performed it, said Yahweh. Right? And that's what we know. We know this ain't nothing but Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shah. Because when we was in the world, man, we ain't know no better. We ain't know nothing. Only thing we knew is everything I just told you. We know gang culture. We know that all day and day. Right? We know all about drugs. We know all about the club. We know all about basketball and football. Right? The majority of the Most High people, they don't know politics for real. But they take their ass out there every 4 years and go vote. They don't understand the political system. They don't understand how voting works. They don't know nothing about they don't know nothing about the electoral college, right? They have no idea about anything but walk around proud as though they do, right? What does the Most High say about pride? Pride comes before a great fall. Pride comes before destruction. Right? So the congregation of the dead are some of the most proudest individuals on the planet. And ultimately it's going to lead to their destruction. Like I said, whether it be at Judgment Day or leading up to Judgment Day. Because don't nobody know what's going to happen 5 minutes from now, 5 hours from now, tomorrow. You got plans for next week, but those plans, they may just be going on in your head. It may not make it that far. Right? I don't know why the most high people feel like God owe them 88 years on this earth. It's crazy to me, right? You think you got time to just do whatever it is you want to do, and on top of that, think that when I die, I'm just dead. Nah, boss, it don't work like that. Scripture says when you die, your flesh go into the ground, but your spirit go back up to the Father. You got the answer for what you did on this earth. Then guess what? After 4 or 5 generations, you bring your ass back down to this earth and you live out that judgment. That's why your life is how it is now. That's why your mind is how it is. That's why you can't shake whatever it is you know that's keeping you down. That's why you can't shake it. Right? You an alcoholic. That's why you can't put the bottle down. Right? You a damn heroin addict. That's why you can't put the needle or the spoon, whatever the hell, down. Right? Whatever it is that you do that you wish you could just stop, the reason why you can't just stop, you living out your judgment. Right? Now, at the end of the day, all of us was at a low point at one point in time. But like I said when I first came out here, man, the way you can tell a righteous from an unrighteous individual is when the word come out. When the word come out, do it disagree with their spirit? Do they get angry at the word? Do they revile hearing the gospels and the prophecies? If so, then there's your answer. You wicked as hell, and there ain't nothing you can do about that, man. You reserved for judgment, man. Right? But Ezekiel chapter 37 and verse 15, the word of Yahweh came again unto me, saying, moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick and write upon it for Judah and for the children of Israel, his companions. Then take another stick and write upon it for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Yasharallah, his companions. Now that's really going into us out in the highways and hedges prophesying, letting the people know, northern and southern kingdom, so-called black, so-called Hispanic, so-called Native Americans, and all the way down to a physical sign that has the nations on it. Right? So like I said, all of these things had to happen. All of these things must come to pass before this place comes to pass, before this place is destroyed, man. And it's we in the end times, man. All right? Let me see. This is the book of 1 Peter. Chapter 4 and verse 7. It says, matter of fact, let me start from the top. Right, 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 1, it says, for as much then as Hamashiach hath suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. For he that has suffered in the flesh hath ceased from sin. Right? Of course, if it was up to us, we wouldn't be out here in no highways and hedges prophesying to nobody. Right? We'd be at the house, doing whatever it is, you know, our flesh wants us to do. But we're not operating in that mindset, right? Scripture tells us to be carnally minded is to basically be, you're dead, right? So it says be spiritual minded, and that's what we are. And that's a fight, man. Because when nobody born knowing this information, we had to learn this information. We had to find out the truth, right? And once the truth was found out, wasn't no going back, right? And it ain't got nothing to do with anything other than the spirit that's inside of us. That's it, right? But it says, verse 2, that he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men, but to the will of power. That's why we come out in the highways and hedges. That's why you see brethren with the fringes on and the garments on and the Bible in their hand prophesying to the wind, right? Because the Spirit of the Lord leading us to this, man. Right? It says, verse 3, for the time past of our life may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles when we walked in lasciviousness, thus excess of wine, revelings, banquetings, and abominable idolatry, wherein they think it strange that ye run not with them to the same excess of riot, speaking evil of you. Right? They think this is strange, us telling our people, hey man, put the niggatry down. Right? And on top of that, just like the scripture says, man, you can't make this up. It says, speaking evil of you because you choose to do righteousness in the eyes of Yahweh, and you don't give a damn about what man got to say, because we understand niggas don't know nothing, man. Right? And niggas don't pertain to black. Nigga it go to anybody with a dumbass mindset. Right? Whether you are so-called white, so-called Hispanic, so-called Native American, right? Or you know, whatever. Nigga is a nigga. Right? But it says, verse 5, who shall give account to him that is ready to judge the quick and the dead? Who shall give account to him that is ready to judge the living and the dead? Right? That's Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah. So what you gonna say to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah when time comes, man? Right? And to all you niggas out there that's also, man, they don't want to ha, they don't want to hear that. Okay. Your real answer is when the police get behind you and you dirty. That's your real answer of what you gonna say when you get before the throne of the Lord. Lord, please, I don't want to hear no, ain't no Lord, please, what? You had ample opportunity. I sent my service to you. You ain't had to go to you ain't had to pay no cash to get into some building. You ain't had to put on your Sunday best and preserve a certain time to go to this place. Right? I sent you to the store. You just wanted something to drink. Right? I sent you straight to the word. I sent you straight to your salvation and you didn't want to hear. So please wait, nigga. You finna take this fire, what your ass gonna take. You don't understand it, man. The Most High said he a man of war, man. He's an austere man. Right? All that love, peace that they be talking in Christianity, bro. That ain't what's up. Right? And that's the warning. Right? The Most High warning y'all ass, man. He finna put this place down. And if you don't get your mind right, which is where your spirit is, he gonna put you down with it, man. And like I said, man, I was speaking to a friend, right, earlier today, and that man said, man, I'm sitting here thinking, bro, everything you said, everything you spoke of that was gonna happen, it's happening. And you've been telling me this for 6 years. You've been telling me about Russia for 6 years. You've been telling me about the Revelation 13 mark of the beast for 6 years. You've been telling me it had something to do with the economy for 6 years. You've been telling me it got something to do with technology for 6 years. You've been telling me about the famine for 6 years. You've been telling me about the famine of the word for 6 years. We're moving on year 7. Right? You can't make this up, man. So keep playing with the Lord, man. The Most High said I will laugh at your calamity, bro. He gonna laugh at you when you need him the most. Right? But it says in the book of 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 6, for this cause was the gospel preached also to them that are dead. Right? Matthew 24, this gospel must be preached around the world. Everybody got to hear this, man. Whether you are of the elect or not. Whether you are of the heathen nations or not. Everybody had to hear this word. The heathens hear their judgment, right? The Most High's people hear the judgment of the 2/3, and they hear of the salvation of the 1/3, right? It says, for this cause was the gospel preached also to them that are dead, that they might be judged according to men in the flesh, but live according to God in the spirit. But the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer, man. And that's it, man. We in the end time. So keep your mind straight. Being sober don't mean you can't drink, right? Being sober don't mean you can't partake in the righteous things that you can partake in, right? Even though now you're not supposed to be a drunkard. Your whole day shouldn't revolve around getting hot or getting drunk, right? But it's more so speaking about the wine of the daughter of Babylon, man. You be sober, right? Stop listening to what these people tell you are. Stop listening to what these people tell you should be thinking of, right? What you should see as right and what you should see as wrong, right? a man being a man and a woman being a woman. That's right, bro. A man being anything other than a man is wrong as hell. Because the Most High didn't wire you up that way. He didn't make you that way. He made a man, and he made a woman, right? And that's all I'm gonna say on that, right? Because I want this content to go out. And that's speaking on the famine on the word itself, bro. Can't make this stuff up, man. Can't even say what you want to say, but yet it's still they swear all up and down you got freedom of speech. Come on, man. It says, but the end of all things is at hand, be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer, man. So I'm gonna go to Romans chapter 13 and verse 11. It says, in that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than we believe. Right? The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light. Let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying, but put ye on Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and make not provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. Now is the time to awake out of sleep. You don't know what tomorrow will bring. Tomorrow, the sun might be shining on your grave, right? Tomorrow or tonight, the moon might be gleaming off of your dead body. You don't know. We don't know. I don't know. This may be my last speech. This may be my last testament. I don't know. I would rather go out doing righteousness, man, to the best of my ability than going out being a damn nigga, man. Something made up by my oppressor. I would rather go out being who I really am, right? Brother Abaya Yasharallah, son of Yasharallah, right? Bon Yasharallah, you understand? Right? That's why I would rather go out. I wouldn't want to go out no other way. You understand? Straight like that, man. Don't give a damn about what anybody feel about it, because it is what it is, right? Now is the time to wake up out of this sleep, man. Wake your ass up, man. You ain't got all the time in the world you think you got, right? So I end it with that, man. All right, with that I say, call Haloyam La Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Harakah Kodash, Shalom Yasha'Allah. Call meaning all. Haloyam is praises. Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father. Yah meaning he, Hawa meaning is or exists. Ba Ha-Sham. Ba is in, Ha is Za, Sham is name. Yahweh Shai, that's who the world ignorantly calls Jesus the Christ, even though the letter J wasn't invented until the 16th century. And the proper English translation from the Hebrew to English would be Joshua, right? Anyway, Yah meaning he, Yahweh Shai meaning delivers, right? Bahasham in the name, Ha, Rakah, Kodash. Ha is Tha, Rakah is spirit, Kodash is holy. Shalom meaning peace, or peace to you. Yasharallah meaning Israel, you so-called blacks, you so-called Hispanics, so-called Native Americans, and all our brethren around the world, all of so-called Negro descent. Right? Shalom, Yasharallah. Shalom. Double honors to the apostles, the elders of Yasharallah. Shalom.